My name is Simran Jeet Singh. I'm a professor of religion, and this is my life story. We all have multiple identities. I'm Asian American. I consider myself to be American. I consider myself to be South Asian, Sikh, Punjabi, Spurs fan, a Texan. We grew up in a place where there were really no South Asians, there were really no Asians, and there were certainly no Sikhs. And so we were the only turbaned family in San Antonio. I have felt that I've been treated differently because of my ethnicity and because of my faith. I don't think that's a surprise to most people. When you look at me and you see the turban and the beard and the brown skin, it's very clear that I fit a particular stereotype here in modern America. I look like what the TVs tell you is the enemy, and that affects how I am treated anytime I'm in public. In some instances, it turns into violence. I've had that. In some instances, it's verbal assaults. And sometimes nothing is said, but the looks that you get tell you that you're being perceived as different and as dangerous. And so all of these things sort of shape how I interact with the world around me. I've sort of been conditioned to be very careful anytime I'm out in public, to look for people who might be out to harm me or who might see me as the enemy and want to do something about it.
I think the best way to describe the Sikh faith or Sikhism is from the very first entry in our scriptures, Guru Granth Sahib, and that starts with the word Ik, Omkar. And Ik means one. And basically the very essence of Sikhism is that there is one God who is the same for everybody. There is one divine light in everybody. What that means is, as an outcome of that, it means that everybody is equal. Since it's the same divine light in all of us, everybody is equal, everybody should be treated equal and respected.
The second piece of that is love. When you start recognizing God and everything, you live in a way that sort of expresses love at all times. And in our tradition, there's not as much emphasis on afterlife. The real goal is to find love within this life. So the end goal in the Sikh tradition is love. And the process for getting there is to practice love within your life at all times. So I would say, for people who don't know much about the Sikh religion, those are sort of the things you really need to know. And when you encounter a Sikh within the world, that's what you can expect, that the person will treat you with kindness and respect because they see God within you and they recognize that that interaction is an opportunity to practice love. I think one of the unique problems we have here in America is that we aren't good about learning one another's cultures and traditions. We don't have a good sense of cultural and religious literacy. We don't learn it in school. People don't teach you about different cultures and practices, and we therefore don't have an appreciation for the diversity in our world. And the diversity is what makes this nation great. It is what makes us strong. It's historically been true that when we have been appreciative of our diversity in this country, we have been at our strongest. We have been at our weakest when we start excluding different communities and alienating one another. And so what we ought to do is start cultivating in our school systems an appreciation for our differences, celebrating our cultures in a way that is inclusive as opposed to divisive. That's what we're seeing right now. This is going back to something I said before. For me, the change that one makes in the world is just as important as how one makes that change. Yeah, so for me, if somebody asked me what advice I have for them in terms of making a difference on any issue, I would say if you do it with the intention of love and service, then no matter what you do, it'll come out right. That's sort of what I'm taught, and that's the way that I like to live.